Hi everyone, my name's Scott. Welcome to Planes, Trains, Everything, and welcome to Fort William. Last summer, Sue and I stayed at the Travelodge in Aberdeen and we left a bit disappointed. We thought it was a bit dirty. And based on the comments left on that video, a lot of people share the same opinion of Travelodges. They're disappointed with Travelodges these days. And I thought, I wonder what's happened with Travelodge. Since then, a friend has stayed in a Travelodge in the Manchester area and she gave it a definite thumbs down. So I thought, I need to investigate this. So in this video, I'm going to not stay at 1, 2, but 3 different Travelodges. I'm here at Fort William with my son Blair, and we are staying at the Travelodge Fort William, which is most definitely a tourist Travelodge. The second one, I'll be staying on my own in Dundee, which is corporate and VFR, and the third one is Glasgow Airport, where the average stay is 1 night. So we'll see if there's a common theme or whether we were just unlucky. With Travelodges, when you make a reservation a couple of days before arrival, you get a generic email welcoming you to the property, telling you about check-in time, what time is departure, and any extras you might have to pay for. But only the Travelodge in Fort William sent an email when I made the reservation. And it was a copy and paste, it was a generic email, but it was sent from the hotel directly. And I thought, I liked the idea. It was just a welcome. So let's go over to the Travelodge in Fort William and check the place out. So before we make a total mess of the room, here's a quick guided tour. Television, which we haven't put on yet. Storage. There's your other pillow, by the way, up there. Sought after view of the roof of Wetherspoons. Not one, but 2 chairs, because this is a twin after all. And what I always look out for, USB chargers, bedside light. The decor is actually not too bad. I think this has been recently refurbished. Right, let's have a look at the bathroom. Yeah, definitely refurbished recently. Looks quite nice. Head air. Step-in shower. And it looks pretty clean. But what we'll do is I'll get my UV light out and we'll really go over this place. So far so good. Let's now go over the room with a fine-tooth comb. Here at the window ledge, not sure what all this is. Something's been stuck to the window ledge. They've tried to remove it, but all that takes is a lick of paint and that would have been covered up. Window is actually quite dirty, but then it is at a window, so it's probably going to attract a lot of dust. Let's have a look here. What's this looking like? A little bit of dust there. That's clean. It's pretty clean. Right, where else can we go? That's been dusted. Yep. There's my UV pen. I'm going to have fun with that. The radiator. Some markings on the radiator. Not quite sure what they are. I think probably someone's been trying to dry socks or something on this after a long walk. But otherwise, it's pretty clean. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the bathroom. I've been dying to try this out. Okay, let's have a look. That is clean. Some markings there. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, there's some dirt there. So they don't clean the bowl as often. What on earth has been going on here? Let's have a look at this. Is that really... Yep, it hasn't been cleaned in a long time. But who's going to really look under a sink? The sink itself is pretty dirty. Yeah, I don't think this has been cleaned in a little while. And just to ensure that it's dirt, can it be removed? Yes, it can. Okay, into the shower. Don't think the shower's been given a really good clean for a while. And the shower base itself. So overall the room itself is pretty clean. There's a little bit of dust here and there, but what do you expect? Bathroom, however, probably could be a little bit more cleaner underneath the basin, underneath the toilet itself, and the shower floor look a little bit dirty, but overall relatively clean. A quick kettle check. Spotless. And let's check the shower head. Again, spotless. Blair's away having his shower. I've just had one, and I'll tell you, that is one good shower. I give that a 10 out of 10, no hesitation whatsoever. Although the controls are something like you'd find on the Starship Enterprise. It took me a little while to get it working, but once it was working, what a fantastic shower. I was curious about the newness, the freshness of this hotel, especially when you go out into the corridor. The carpet smells new. So I spoke to the nice girl on reception, and she says the hotel itself is about 12 years old, but it was refurbished a year ago. That's why everything is so new. And here's a little tip for you. If you decide to stay at a Travelodge in the UK, don't go to places like booking.com or Trivago, because you won't get the best deals there. Go to Travelodge direct. Go to travelodge.co.uk, click on the tab which says Best Price Finder, put the city that you're interested in, and you'll get a day-by-day blow as to what the cheapest fare is at that place. And that's how I found this. And this cost me about £28. And that was a good bargain. Usually the price is many times that in the middle of summer, but here in December, £28 for the Travelodge. And it's great, it's in a great location as well. Right, we're going to get ready and we're going to go out for a bite to eat and maybe a refreshment as well. Last night I looked on TripAdvisor just to see what people had been saying about this property. Of the 1,278 reviews, 67% of people gave this place either a very good or an excellent rating, which is not bad. 7% gave it a terrible rating, and of course I always like to see what people have got to moan about, and these are the sort of things they were moaning about. Rude receptionist, definitely not. Noisy. Outside, no, but you can hear the footsteps above and voices through the wall, because I think everything's a bit thin in this place. Dirty, definitely not. Smelly, definitely not. I think some of these complaints were made before the refurbishment in December last year, and that was in 2022. The Travelodge here doesn't have a bar, so we're going to have to go outside for a liquid refreshment. Blair, do you fancy a beer?
Yeah.
Total of 400 millimetres of rainfall, washing away roads.
So that was the Travelodge in Fort William. What did I think? Well, USBs, there were 4, and that's always a good sign that a room has recently been refurbished. Check-in was from 3 o'clock and not earlier unless you pay a fee. The bed was a spring mattress and I thought it was pretty comfortable. What did you think of the bed, Blair?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Pretty good. As good as your bed at home though? No, maybe not, okay. The TV, yep, worked and it had Freeview. The shower was fantastic, a 10 out of 10 for the shower. The kettle worked. You could get extra tea, coffee and milk from reception. The Wi-Fi worked free of charge for 30 minutes, then you had to pay £3. But overall it was a fantastic stay. I give it a 9.5 out of 10, and the reason for that is because I don't know what a 10 out of 10 would be for a 3-star budget hotel. Fantastic. Now, we're off to Dundee. And here we are in a rather windy Dundee. There are 2 Travelodges in Dundee. There's a Dundee city centre and we're staying today at the Dundee Strathmore Avenue. And I've picked the most random of the two for a reason. Sue and I stayed at the city centre property in the early 2000s, and it was memorable for the wrong reasons. About 5 in the morning, we suddenly had all these pigeons arrive on our window ledge, and these seagulls flying around. What a racket! It certainly was not a dawn chorus, I can tell you. So as we're checking out, I said to the guy, "What's the story with all these birds?" And he said the building used to be a warehouse. It had lain abandoned for a number of years. Travelodge came along, turned it into a hotel, but someone forgot to tell the birds. So every morning they still turn up to make this almighty racket. But here at Strathmore Avenue, it should be a lot quieter. Why have I picked this one? Well, it is a bit random. It's 1.5 miles from the city centre of Dundee. And I was curious to see who actually stayed here. And I think the answer is probably not many. There is a university nearby, and we're around the corner from the King's Cross Hospital, so I think that's part of where the client base comes from. But I am curious to see. As per usual, I went on the TripAdvisor, and out of 1,146 reviews, 73% give this property a very good or an excellent rating, which is actually better than the Travelodge in Fort William. And I gave Fort William a 9.5 out of 10. Anyway, there was also about 7% who described the place as terrible. They said there was problems with the heating, there was noisy guests, and there was a smell. But for £26 tonight, what do you expect? I expect at least a dry room, a clean room, and I really don't care what it looks like on the outside. That was another one of the problems. Oh, it's in a horrible location. Why book it then? Oh, I don't like the looks of the hotel. Well, there's a picture of it on their website. Right, let's go in, get our room, and then I'll give you a guided tour of what I get for my £26. It's a sad state of affairs when guests have to be reminded to keep the noise down. I was really wondering about the randomness of this location, and the manager actually spoke to me, and he said that firstly it's next to the hospital. They get a lot of people in there who are receiving long-term care, and so their friends and relations base camp here at the hotel for a while. Also, they get a lot of contractors. That was something which was mentioned on TripAdvisor. A lot of vans parked outside, but they said they do get people coming here for up to a week. They're working in the Dundee area. This is nice and cheap for them. They've probably got contracted rates. As a result, out of the two Travelodges in Dundee, this is the busiest with the best room occupancy. So there you go. Right, let's do a guided tour. First things first, it looks pretty good. We have a TV, which is always handy. Extra pillows, non-stealable coat hangers, and a fan, which I don't think we'll need because it's absolutely freezing outside. Let's go into the bathroom. Nice clean hand basin, toilet, and a shower. This actually looks very, very nice. There are a couple of scuff marks here and there. That's what you'd expect. A bit of wear and tear there, where people leave their luggage, and a chip or two. But really, otherwise, it's in pretty good nick. And I think this place has been renovated probably in the last couple of years. It looks and smells quite fresh. And I nearly forgot the view. This, I think, overlooks part of the hospital, but I get the much sought after rubbish bin view. The views don't really matter when you're paying this amount per night. If you want a really good view, stay at the Malmaison in the centre of the city. Right, I'm going to get unpacked, I'm going to relax a little bit, and then we'll do the guided tour based on the UV torch, just to see how clean this place really is. I completely overlooked the kettle, and unlike the Travelodge in Fort William, they actively ask you to leave feedback on TripAdvisor. Good news and bad news. Good news is I'm about to start a detailed check of the hotel room just to see how clean it is. The bad news is I've left my UV torch behind, so I won't be able to check for those hidden nasties. But here goes anyway. Firstly, the bed. Spotless. No signs of... no, that's fine. Okay, a little bit of dirt there, but we're not going to complain about that. Here's something that people forget about. Right, that hasn't been cleaned for a little while, because you can see a bit of dust there. Yeah, there's dust on the windowsill. How about down here? Yep, dust there as well. So it hasn't been dusted for a while, or given a really good clean. What about on top of the TV? That has been dusted. Right, bathroom. The sealant looks completely new. Again, a little bit of dust there, hasn't been dusted for, I don't know, maybe a week or so. That has been dusted. Toilet looks fine. And for the shower, let's have a look at the shower head. Spotless. I might ask the manager when I'm leaving tomorrow morning when this property was actually renovated. It was recently, but not super recently. And the giveaway is the fact that although the decor is very similar to Fort William, they don't have USB charging points. And that's usually a giveaway. And I reckon this has possibly been renovated as recently as maybe during the COVID lockdown. But Fort William was renovated just 12 months ago. One complaint that's made on TripAdvisor is how cold the rooms are. This is a cold room. There's a fairly strong wind blowing outside. It's blowing against the window and the seal around the window is gone. In fact, it's so strong you can actually sometimes see the curtain move. However, there is a radiator under the desk. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. Unlike the Travelodge in Fort William, here they actually have menus and they do meals, food, drinks, the whole lot, even a breakfast. But I'm going to be heading out shortly just to get a bite to eat. There are shops on the corner. I'll go over there, get some fresh air, and then come back to this very cold room. Well guys, it's the morning after the night before. This is a rundown on the Travelodge Strathmore Avenue in Dundee. Firstly, the seal in this window is almost non-existent. You can feel the draft. In fact, here's a little experiment. So between the drafty room and the lack of central heating, it's a pretty cold room. And that's been mentioned a few times by some negative reviewers on TripAdvisor. I'll mention it to the guy when I'm checking out today, just to see what he says. A design flaw. Unlike Fort William, which I gave 9.5 out of 10, there are no USBs and no power points on either side of the bed. So if you do want to charge a phone overnight, you've got to do it way over here on the far side of the room. That's just a design flaw. And also another thing mentioned on TripAdvisor, how noisy the guests are. I don't know if they're any noisier than any other hotel, but the walls are paper thin. You can hear anything coming from above and below. In fact, we had some guests come in at about 3 AM this morning and promptly had a conversation and I could hear every single word. The floors and ceilings are so thin that one floor above and maybe 3 rooms down, if someone closes the door too loudly, you can hear the thud through the walls. That's how thin the walls are. It's a very, very noisy hotel. So I'm going to get organised and I'm going to check out, and I'll see you out in the car park for the final score here at Strathmore Avenue. If there's one thing I find that you can guarantee at a Travelodge, it's the friendly staff. Despite the pressure they're under, they always do a great job. I asked the girl at checkout when the rooms were last renovated. She said the bathrooms were done about 5 years ago and they do look renovated, and the rooms themselves done slightly earlier than that, before her time. So they're still looking pretty fresh, to be honest. I also mentioned the lack of central heating. She was aware of that, and there's an engineer on his way. Whether this is a recurring problem which has attracted so much negative feedback on TripAdvisor this month, who knows. Anyway, this property I'm giving a 6.5 out of 10 because, to be honest, I would have expected better from a Travelodge. I've got a little soft spot for this brand, but this was a bit of a disappointment. The drafty windows in December, not good enough at all. And the paper thin walls, oof. I didn't get a great night's sleep last night. Okay, my next Travelodge is my local Travelodge, Glasgow Airport. And here I am at the third and final Travelodge in this epic video, the Travelodge at Glasgow Airport. Years ago I was part of a travel agent's trip and we spent the first night away at Heathrow Airport. It was a hotel along Bath Road. It will remain nameless. The next morning over breakfast we were talking about how well we enjoyed the stay, and the sales manager actually said that airport properties do get hammered quite a lot because of the rapid turnover of guests. Let's face it, if you're going to stay at a property at an airport, you're generally only here for one night. In fact, 99.9% of the time you will be here for one night only. And I thought, I wonder how hammered the Travelodge at Glasgow Airport is. So I went on to TripAdvisor and I've written down some facts on this bit of cardboard. Of 1,429 reviews, 72% gave it a very good or an excellent rating, and to be honest, that seems to be a common theme with the Travelodges I've stayed at. There's also a common theme about the number of people who rate it as terrible. On this occasion, 8%, which is roughly 1 in every 12 or 13 guests. And I thought, what's wrong with the Travelodge here? Glad you asked. The rooms are dirty, unfriendly staff, lack of maintenance, and the bit that gets me because I'm such a light sleeper, rowdy guests and a lack of action by staff to shut them up. Now my hotel here, £29 for the night. I was wondering about the fog. It is quite a foggy day today, and I was looking at flight arrivals and departures here at Glasgow Airport. If things are really compromised, then this could be a busy hotel tonight, but it looks okay. It's only really Tyree and Barra flights with Logan Air that have been cancelled. Everything else is delayed by 30 minutes to an hour, so we should be fine. Let's get inside. Right, so due to a bit of stupidity on my part, I actually went to the first floor looking for room 7 when it's actually on the ground floor. I had to go back to reception, but we're okay now. This appears to be the first of the 3 rooms I've stayed at which hasn't been refurbished, or if it was done some time ago. You generally don't get this anymore. In all fairness, the room smells very fresh. However, there's a few things which tell you it's been a while since it's been refurbished. 1 double bed, no USBs, no power points. Oh, okay. There is a view, although I'm not quite sure of what. It looks like a housing estate behind us, but I'm not here for the view. Although this is a double room, there's only 1 seat, a very retro looking seat as well, which might come in handy because I was hoping to do some editing tonight. Loads of space here, but no seat. The TV is quite a large one. We've got a kettle, and yes, we'll be using these shortly. A storage area, again non-stealable hangers, extra pillows, a fan and a second towel. Overall, quite a large room, and this isn't using a wide angle lens. Right, let's visit the bathroom. It's lockable. This is nice. Yeah. Everything appears to be clean, but we'll do the real check later on. Some mildew down there. Yeah, and what looks like a pretty grotty or dodgy connection on the shower head. But we'll be trying that out later. I can't imagine what someone would be doing in the bathroom to justify poking a hole in the door. And there's this thing here as well, which might have been a hook at some point. That is a clean shower head. On first appearance, it's a really nice room and it smells really fresh as well. The true test will be when I get my UV torch out. But first things first, I'm going to unpack, relax, have a cup of tea, and then I'll think about what I'm going to do for dinner tonight. Down by the side of the bed, there's a huge hole in the wall. What on earth caused that? Let's check this kettle. Looks clean to me. Before I do the UV test here in the bathroom, here's a couple of things I've noticed. Firstly, that's a sign that it hasn't been renovated in quite some time. A single flush button. And what do you reckon that was? Also in the shower, I've now noticed a couple of breaks, cracks, whatever you want to call them. Overall, apart from the mildew on the floor, it still looks pretty clean. That's the only scuff mark I've found so far. And the carpet, I think, is relatively new. There's a couple of little marks like that one there, but you can see the vacuum cleaner has been over it, and that is in pretty good nick. Travelodge sell their rooms the same way Ryanair sells seats. Basic price, then all these things you can add on, and these are some of the add-ons. Unlimited breakfast, £9.50, and there's a story to that. When I booked these about 3-4 weeks ago, I must have thought at the time, let's just celebrate and have a breakfast on the last day. So yeah, I was reminded at check-in I've got a breakfast and I paid £9.50 for it. So I'll review the breakfast as well at the Travelodge Glasgow Airport. A meal deal, £15.25, not quite sure what that is. Probably a breakfast and a lunch or something you can take away with you. 24 hours of Wi-Fi, £3. You get 30 minutes of free Wi-Fi, then you pay £3 for it. Early check-in from 12 noon, £10. Late checkout from 2 PM, £10. I won't be taking advantage of that. And a pet-friendly room, additional £20. Okie dokie, it's just gone 6 PM. I'm starting to get hungry, so I'm going to go out and get a bite to eat. So where am I going to eat? I could eat inside the Travelodge, but it's pretty quiet in there and I'd be there on my own. Or I could cross the road, across the car park and eat here. But that could be a bit naughty. Or I could eat here at Glasgow Airport. The dining opportunities are pretty limited here airside, but we'll have a look around anyway, see what there is. I'm glad I don't work at the airport anymore. This would be way too tempting having a Greggs here. I take back what I said about the lack of dining opportunities at Glasgow Airport. I didn't think Greggs would be open at this time of night, 7 PM, but they are. Very quiet, but they're still open. And also there's a new pub called the Spinning Jenny, which I remember it was opening and I'd completely forgotten about it. Just goes to show you how often I pass through Glasgow Airport these days. Most of the cheap fares are with Ryanair and they're through Edinburgh. Right, let's get in. I'm going to warm up and then I'm going to get my UV torch out. Okay, let's see how clean this room really is. Firstly, above the bed. Not a spot. Nothing there. Nope. Perfectly clean. Here at the window ledge. Again, completely spotless. Wow, that is really hot. That's more than 22 degrees Celsius, that's for sure. Wow. Yeah, that's hot. That is actually dangerously hot. Wow, I wouldn't want a young child to touch that, that's for sure. Right, this here. Not relatively clean. TV I can see already, totally clean. Yeah, the room is really good. Here we go. These wee sneaky bits, yeah, a wee bit of dust there. And there. And there. However, let's go into the bathroom now. That's a pretty scary sight, isn't it? Right. So, the bathroom could be cleaner. The bedroom area is pretty spotless. I was trying to rack my brain as to when this was built. From memory, I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s when the Travelodge was built, and also the Courtyard by Marriott across the road. You can tell there's been work done in the place since then, of course. There's brackets, or what must have been brackets here, and brackets here as well. Remember earlier I put my hand on the top of this radiator and actually almost scalded myself. It was so hot, so dangerous, especially when a child put their hand there. I put the temperature down to 15 degrees Celsius, much more manageable for me to sleep. This is actually cold.
Treated with a different respect because this little thing changed the history of the world. And there's something else.
For some reason, every time I turn the temperature down, it goes back up to 22 degrees Celsius, and I know that's going to be too warm for me to sleep. So I switched the thing off. Haha. 22 degrees Celsius, honestly. Well guys, it's the morning and I had a pretty good sleep. The mattress is quite firm, just the way I like it. And I love this pillow. If I could, I would take one of these home with me, but I won't. I've just had a shower. The shower was okay as well. Not the best I've ever had, but certainly not the worst. Okay, I'm just going to get ready and then I'm going to head down to breakfast. Well, the coffee down there was hot and strong. It did the job. When you think buffet breakfast, you think, oh, I could eat loads, but there's only so many Cumberland sausages, scrambled eggs and baked beans you can eat. I am stuffed. Anyway, I'm going to get ready, I'm going to check out, and then I'll do my final review outside. So let's do a recap on Glasgow Airport Travelodge. I had to write these things down because I know I'll forget. No USB or power outlets by the beds. The bathroom could have been cleaner and there were signs of mildew. There's random holes and a broken latch on the window, and that radiator top was burning hot, which I thought was actually quite dangerous. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's not too bad, certainly not as bad as Dundee. When I was checking out, I spoke to the girl and I asked whether Travelodges in the UK are franchises, and she said no, they're actually owned by Travelodge. So why there's such a big difference in some of the properties, I'm not quite sure. I don't understand that. You look at the feedback offered on TripAdvisor and you've got 70 to 75% of guests saying it's very good or excellent. I can understand that. The Travelodge at Fort William was excellent. This one was very good. But then you also get 7 or 8% saying it's terrible. And there's Dundee Strathmore Avenue. Maybe I was very unlucky with the window seal, but that was pretty close to a terrible stay. It was not a good one at all. Overall, Travelodge, hit and miss, but they're good value for money, and I think that's the secret, perceived value for money. I paid between £25 and £30 per night because I booked in advance and I used the facility on their website to find the cheapest dates. Whereas if I was paying the best part of £100 for a stay, I might be a little bit peeved off. Anyway guys, have you stayed at a Travelodge? What do you think about them in general? Thanks very much for coming along with me on this little adventure, and I'll see you next time.